Welcome to Good as Gold, hosted by Nick Grovich, a show dedicated to helping you understand precious metals and rare coins, how to avoid the pitfalls when buying, and how to understand the inner workings of the precious metals markets. Have a question? Call our local office at 1-800-221-7694. That's 1-800-221-7694. Or visit us online at www.americanfederal.com. Now, here's the host of Good as Gold, Nick Grovich.
Hi, this is Don Gause sitting in for Nick today, and I've got Carl Ladas from our office with me also. Nick has been doing the show for a while, and he's on vacation this week, and he wanted us to sort of give you our perspective. We've been longtime employees of his, and really enjoy what I do for a living and meeting with people and helping them with their investments. Give you a little bit of my background. I've known Nick for 30 years. I was his accountant originally, and Nick's kind of a collector of people, not just coins. At one point, we had talked a little bit about it. He talked me into coming to work for him full-time instead of just doing his accounting work, and it didn't take me too many years before I figured out that salesmen make a lot more than accountants, and I had a lot more fun doing that also. So I sort of migrated over to sales. And at some point in the last year or two, Nick and I figured out that probably in the last 10 years I bought about $100 million in coins in my travels all over the U.S., buying coins for the company. Nick, of course, supervises everything, but it seems like as we've gotten older and my kids got older and his kids got younger, that I do a lot more traveling than Nick, so I get to meet with a lot more people. And kind of one of the things we wanted to talk about is the things that we see in the marketplace when we're out there meeting with people. Carl's been with the company for, 6 years now. Again, Nick collected him. He was in the construction business, had a successful company of his own, and then 2008 happened. He'd done a lot of work for us. We all thought he was a very honest and honorable person, and we thought he'd be a good addition to our company, and he's learned a lot about coins.
Thank you, Don.
Investment in people, and it's been a lot of fun working with him. If you have any questions, I would encourage you to call in, because I don't know. This is the first time I've ever done this, and a little nervous, and could use all the help I can get from listeners. The number here at the station is 602-324-1510, and feel free to call in if you have a question or a comment, or call me at the office afterwards and tell me what I can do better in the future. I'd always appreciate that. The first thing I wanted to talk about is I took a call from a client yesterday, and I just want to talk about marketing of rare coins. If you're a big telemarketer who's out there selling, hundreds of millions of dollars in coins a year with a room full of salesmen that you have to keep busy, and you're probably spending, Lord knows, $500,000 to $1 million a month creating leads for these guys. You've got to create excitement, a reason for people to purchase, not in the future, but right now. There's a lot of pressure on these guys. So one of the things we see that just always amazes me is all the different schemes they come up with. One of the things I'd like to tell my clients every once in a while is if you get 3 or 4 phone calls from 2 or 3 dealers offering to sell you something, the odds are pretty good. It's a wonderful time to sell that, not buy it, because they're creating a demand. They're helping to raise the awareness of those coins. They're raising the prices of those coins with all the marketing efforts and money that they're spending. Just to give you an idea, over the last, Nick started recommending half-ounce gold eagles to our clients. Oh gosh, it's been at least 7 years. I mean, they cost the same per ounce as a 1 ounce gold eagle, but the mintages are smaller. And we've in the last couple of years, we've had a couple of instances where, well, Carl had a client we delivered a bunch of half-ounce gold eagles to, and after gold had gone down quite a bit.
Yeah, we were actually able to double her holdings simply because of a collector premium that it developed on the coins. It wasn't there when she made the purchase.
Yeah, so. And I was talking to a client yesterday, he's got some 20 half-ounce gold eagles, and they're worth about $1,100 right now. And the problem is he paid $1,080 from them back 6 years ago from a dealer who had started promoting them and has raised the prices on them, but he's finally raised them up to where the poor guy's making about breaking even. I did the math, and we probably would have charged him about $675 for the same coins back then. So it's just a little, I mean, it's little. It's a huge difference in the way we go about business. Is one of the things that we're trying to do is always look for an edge where you can maybe have a chance to outperform the market. We're not always right, but we're also trying to find you an edge that maybe it costs you the same or a few dollars extra to buy it, but it doesn't cost you hundreds of dollars extra to take that opportunity and see if you can get out ahead. The same client, when I was talking to him yesterday, another dealer, these guys call all the time. He offered them 2015 Gold Eagle set from the first box of Gold Eagles ever graded this year, okay? And the collector in me sort of got a little interested, but, there's 500 1-ounce Gold Eagles in that box, and he was telling me the salesman told him 215 of the coins graded MS-70 and 285 of them graded MS-69. So honestly, you don't necessarily need to pay for them to be graded, because if they run the prices of these things up in the future, the odds are good that they'll pay the same for a raw coin as they will for a 69, maybe not for a 70. But I've seen guys charging $1,000 extra for that MS-70 holder, and all they're doing is buying the same coins you do and sending them off to the grading service, paying 20 or 30 bucks a coin to have them graded. So that's the kind of stuff we see. They create excitement, and certainly, first 500 coins, those will sell out pretty fast, but in 10 years, is anyone really going to care? That's the great question. Now, if you paid $50 or $100 extra for that coin, it's a pretty good gamble for you. If you paid, $1,000 extra for the coin, you're going to have them have a really successful promotion of that coin just for you to break even in the future. So it's a lot of this stuff is about how much you pay when you walk in the door on your first transaction. It can make all the difference in the world. None of us can tell you exactly where gold's going in the future, but basically anybody that tells you what they know where gold's going in the future, you probably should run, because they ask them why they don't own an island somewhere. We're about to go to break, so I just want to let you know you can call the office, ask questions at 800-221-7694. Carl and I'll be back there about an hour after the show is over. Or you can call into the show here at 602-324-1510. And the other thing I'd like to let you know is you can sign up, call the office and sign up for our preferred membership list, or you can go online to sign up for that. And basically, that'll give you first crack at some special deals that we offer when we buy big deals from clients. So I'm not very good at this, but we're about 7 seconds from break, and I'm just going to quit talking here in a second, and so we might be quiet for a second. Thank you.
Now back to Good as Gold with Nick Rovich. Have a question? Call our local office at 1-800-221-7694. That's 1-800-221-7694. Or visit us online at www.americanfederal.com. Once again, here's Nick Rovich.
Hi, this is Don Gause again, sitting in for Nick, and we're talking about creating excitement in the coin market. I just wanted to, the more things change, the more they're the same. I just wanted to go over something else. Is that one of the things that gets people excited is when they find a hoard of coins, and a hoard of coins just means somebody found thousands of coins that nobody knew existed before. And in the collecting aspect, what happens is the dealers get a hold of these things, and they've got to create demand. So they spend money advertising. They have great stories to, a great backstory on the whole thing, and it really gets everybody excited about stuff. And it can make prices go up, even though it's kind of counterintuitive, because you just raised the supply of something, and it normally should lower the price. But the other side of the coin is when you own something that's in a new hoard, it's not a bad time to maybe sell into the wave there with the advertising going on and everything else that's happening that helped raise those prices, because when that advertising goes down, people just forget about it. One of the early hoards that I was aware of was in 1974 they found this what's called the Redfield hoard, and you still run into coins that have Redfield hoard on the label. And what it was is there was this eccentric kind of kook in Reno, Nevada, who everybody didn't think had any money, and when he died, they found somewhere between, nobody knows the exact number because the coin dealers, the coin industry likes to make a mystery in this stuff, but somewhere between $500,000 and $650,000 silver dollars were in this hoard. And what happened is then a large coin company went in and bought the whole thing for about $7.3 million. And you think about that, that's just a little over $10 a coin. And there's some pretty rare coins in there. So then they went out and they did all kinds of marketing, and they made it exciting, and I'm sure they made a lot of money on the deal. But now we're 30 years, well, heck, 74, we're a lot more than that. We're 40 years later, and nobody really cares. I mean, you see a coin Redfield hoard, and honestly, even the nice uncirculated ones are a little baggy for the most part, and it's just not that exciting. And they don't demand $1 extra, and people were probably sold those coins at big premiums. Another hoard that was found in the early 90s was the Wells Fargo hoard. They found 10,000 $20 St. Gaudens in a Wells Fargo bank in Las Vegas that, heaven forbid, they never turned them in 1933. And most of them were 1908 no mottos. And they were gorgeous coins. Basically, I mean, just from what's published, almost 1,000 of those coins graded MS-66. And if you know anything about coins, that's a pretty before that, that was a pretty rare coin. It still commands a halfway decent premium over the price of gold, but that's a coin for the last 5 years. As gold's gone up in the last run-up, those things have been going down. And gosh, there was 101 coins out of that hoard that graded 68, and 10 coins that graded 69, when 70 is a perfectly graded coin. So how would you have liked to have been the guy that paid a lot of money for one of those coins before this hoard was found, and all of a sudden there's a ton of coins out there? And one of my favorite older hoards that's coming back is that they found the SS Central America, and they brought a whole bunch of gold up off of that boat, and it was very expertly marketed. People they sold a lot of coins. There was one coin on that ship, the 1857 $20 gold piece. They estimate that over 90% of that year's production of that coin was on that ship. So that was a super rarity before that ship was found. Now, they brought up a bunch years ago, and then there's a bunch of legal fights over payment for things and all kinds of other stuff, and the guy that brought them up is, I think, hiding in South.
Missing in action.
Yeah, nobody knows where he is. Yeah. And they finally just got all the legal stuff taken care of, and they started bringing up coins again this year off that ship again. And apparently, they've only brought up about 20% of the coins. There's a bunch more coins down there, yeah, and a bunch more excitement on these early $20 gold coins, but also a bunch more supply coming forward. So
yeah, they never disclosed in the original.
Yeah, nobody knows. I don't think honestly, I don't think they know how many are down there and how, what they're going to be able to do with them. And then just recently, I don't know if you watched the news, there was. A couple was walking on their property in California, and they saw a little tin can sticking up out of the ground, and they found, it's called the Saddle Ridge Hoard. They basically kicked the can and then started digging, and they found a bunch of tin cans full of gold pieces. There were over 1,400 gold pieces in that, and first estimate is there's about $10 million in rare coins in there.
A lot of rare dates in those coins.
Yeah, there's a couple of coins that graded, just to give you an idea, an 1866S $20 Liberty, no motto, that came out of that hoard, that they valued at around $1 million, and an 1866 with motto that graded MS62. It's the finest known ever graded. So again, how'd you like to be the poor guys that bought those coins and all of a sudden they find more coins? And just to give you an idea, we just had I can't remember the guy's name, the 100-year-old guy, Newman.
Oh, yeah, the Newman collection.
Guy named Newman, he's in his hundreds, and he started selling off his coin collection in the last year. Now, a lot of these coins were bought in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, and frankly, there's nobody alive in the coin business that had dealt with this guy, so nobody knew what he had in his collection. And like, he had one of the coins in his collection is probably the very first $1 coin ever minted. They can't prove that because you just can't prove it, but it's the finest known, and it's like 5 grades better than the next best coin. And there are collections out there like this that nobody knows about. Nobody's been shared with them. They were purchased long enough ago that very few, if any, coin dealers are left that even know these people have this stuff. And Newman's lucky. He's in his hundreds, and he's getting to watch the sale of his coins. At one point, he wanted to give the collection intact to his kids, but none of them were that interested in the coin collection for whatever reason. I think last count, he's up over $80 or $90 million in sales so far, and he still has coins left. So
those are all truly rare coins.
Yeah, really rare coins, and he had a great eye. Some of the stuff's the best that's out there. But you just don't know how many guys that are, I mean, it only takes a handful of people like that, and all of a sudden, if you're holding something, it just becomes more ordinary. I wanted to, where are we at? Okay.
We're good. I think we got some time.
I wanted to share with you a couple of things. I was out there looking at some of the big dealers, and I'm not going to, they're not bad people. They believe what they say, but I just pulled up one of the biggest dealers in the country's website, and one of the things on his website is 4 reasons why we could see a new bull market in rare coins in the next 18 months. The interesting thing is, I was in his website 4 or 5 years ago, and he had pretty much the same bullet there. The reason we could see a new bull market in rare coins in the next 18 months. They're always promising something, but I mean, there's no. It's funny because there are some bull markets in rare coins right now, but it's for the most part nothing that most dealers would have sold you, because, to be honest with you, where the market gets hot is where all of a sudden collectors start to be, and the collectors have a tendency to go their own way without any direction from dealers sometimes, especially the big dealers that are out there spending a lot of money on advertising and really driving the market. But I mean, the reasons that he thinks that we're going to have a bull market in rare coins, the first thing is the gold supply is down. Well, one of the things, if you've been listening to Nick for a while, that's where you want to be when the gold supply is down, is in gold, not rare coins. And to be honest with you, for guys that are worried about the world just falling apart and gold being the new standard of money, that's when you probably want to be a buyer of rare coins, because you'll probably be able to buy them at the cheapest price you'll ever see in that kind of an environment. And gold prices increasing really don't have much of a bearing on the price of rare coins. Rare coins move up because collectors find something interesting. They move up because dealers are promoting them, and that's pretty much the only reason they move up. So it's hard to figure that one out. The one thing I'll tell you, in the last 10 years of being out traveling and buying coins, is it seems like there's always 2 or 3 parts of the market that are, to me, feel red hot, just because I've seen what it's like when they're not doing anything. Hi, it's Don and Carl, And I'm going to try to let Carl talk a little bit more. One of the things we wanted to talk about is that dealers creating rarities in the marketplace. And I like to say that the better the story, probably the bigger the markup. And you know, it just gets to the point where just have some examples.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of on the same subject line, but the biggest thing I'm noticing right now when I talk to my clients, I'm going up against a lot of these online bullion, they call themselves wholesalers, but they're online bullion discount houses. You can't talk to a live person. It has to be all done through the computer. Matter of fact, I had one of my clients, it was about 8 weeks ago. I did a pretty sizable deal with her in liquidating a big collection she had, and she was sitting on some cash. And she called up and wanted to turn some of that cash into silver. And we're talking a pretty sizable amount. It was about 2,000 or 3,000 ounces of silver. And I had talked to her about the Silver Eagles and said, listen, we can give them to you. And this is, you know, when we do a consignment like that, I know Nick's talked about this in the past, but we charge a fee up front for the consignment. We either pay you in cash on the back end or we, you know, buy you bullion at our cost. Well, I gave her our at-cost price, and she said she could get it for cheaper. And when I heard that, I said, well, you know, there's only a few market makers. We all buy from the same guys. We all pay pretty much the same price for this, you know, for Silver Eagles, what we were talking about. And I told her to be very careful. So I told her, I kind of thought I had talked her out of going.
Actually, I think you were a little firmer than that. You basically told her that they were going to.
I told her she needs to be really careful
and play the market with it.
Yeah. So what happened was, long story short, she told me she wasn't going to do anything. She ended up going to these guys and buying from them. About a month later, I heard back from her. This was a couple weeks ago. And she told me what she had done. And, you know, I said, well, here's what's happened. You know, you bought, your timing was immaculate. She literally bought at 15.45 with spot silver. So she bought near the bottom, 3-year low. The problem was the guys she went with were waiting for the silver price to go down further before they covered what she had bought. So they sold it to her, but they hadn't gone into the market to buy it. They were waiting for silver to go down. It hasn't gone down in 8 weeks. So I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but they've told her they're having delivery issues and, you know, one excuse after the other. Folks, if you've got a dealer telling you there's delivery issues on Silver Eagles, but no other dealer in the country is experiencing a delivery issue, there's something wrong. And, you know, I told her I could have had those boxes to her in 24 hours. If she would have wired me the money. So long story short, now she's coming to me asking for advice on how to fix this problem. And, you know, I said, you need to stay on them. You need to file a complaint. And the problem was, this was after the fact. She started looking into the company. That she found out that they've got 37 complaints with the Better Business Bureau for delivery issues since January of this year. And she never checked her. They never did any research prior to purchasing these coins. She was strictly stuck on the price that she was getting them for cheaper than what I could buy them for. And you know, so that's what we're seeing a lot of. You're seeing a lot of these dealers out there. These guys aren't probably even real coin dealers. They're just guys that are running the market. She can't talk to anybody. It's all done through email, basically. And she's in a world of hurt. So she's out a lot of money. Will she get her coins? I don't know. I hope so. We'll find out.
Well, that's if it's too good to be true, it almost always is too good to be true. Early in my career, we're very busy at our office, and we're not always perfect at returning phone calls. We try really hard to take care of you, but I will just admit we're not always perfect, and because we're busy. And early in my career, I was probably not as good as I am now, and I took a call from a little old lady that wanted to buy $500,000 in gold eagles. And believe me, I was pretty diligent about following up with her. Well, one of the big dealers in the country sold her first 10 gold eagles below cost. And she just, you know, I call her up about every 2 or 3 weeks because I had told her, you know, if you're going to spend $500,000, don't buy it all at once. You don't know. The markets go up, they go down, sort of dollar cost average into it. And the long and the short of it is, about a year and a half later, gold had gone up $400 an ounce, and her son calls me up. She wanted to spend $500,000. She had spent $1 million with this dealer. She is only making, her coins were worth about $610,000. Gold had gone up 40 $400 an ounce, which was about 60% in the time that she'd bought it. So she bought it the right time, but they convinced her to buy $20 St. Gaudens and $20 Liberties at a nice markup, and that market doesn't move. They're collector coins. They don't move lockstep with gold. A lot of dealers will tell you that they are like having turbocharged gold, where they should far outperform gold in the long run, but they never followed it up in this last marketplace, and they just never made it up there, and she never covered what their markup was. Even at $1,900 gold, she wasn't breaking even. And the frustration, kind of like Carl, we're the bad guys. We didn't even do business with her, but all of a sudden we're getting blamed. And I actually took that one really personally. I've believe me, if you tell me you want to spend $500,000, you get a lot more phone calls from me than you used to, and I'm trying to figure out what you're doing with the competitors to try and keep it all on the up and up. But that's kind of what's been going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on out there. It's all about drumming up business, and there'll be a lot of guys also, they'll sell you small quantities. I go up against this all the time. Well, this dealer's selling me Silver Eagles at, spot silver. Well, how's that happening? Well, how many is he selling you? Because if he's selling me at at that price, give me the guy's name. I'll go buy 60,000 ounces from him today. If he's selling them at spot price, because I can turn around and sell them for $1.50 over into the wholesale market. The problem is, no, he'll only sell me 10. Well, he's only selling you 10 to get your information. He might treat you well on the first, 1 or 2 transactions, but there's always a catch. They're always trying to get you on the back end. So you got to understand, people have to make a living. And selling stuff at 1% over at cost, and legitimate market, we only make 3% on gold, 5% on silver. If we're lucky, we try to do that. That's not unreasonable to make. So if you see somebody trying to make less than that, well, what's going on? You've got to ask yourself, and are you willing to play that game?
Yeah, everybody needs to make a profit to stay in business. So when people are undercutting people by that much, you've always got to wonder, are they just trying to build a mailing list they can sell to these telemarketers? Are they trying to play the market? And if it goes the wrong way, are you going to be out your money because they never bought your product that they promised to deliver? There's just a lot of different problems that are out there. I mean, we've been in business for over 30 years, and it's amazing to me, through the ups and downs of this market, how many people I've seen go out of business. And it's a tough business. The margins are pretty thin, and if you make a really bad mistake, it can cost you quite a bit of money, and it's hard to recover from it. So you just got to be real careful of who you deal with and the integrity of everyone.
Now, there are a lot of really good dealers out there. We tend to beat up on the bad guys a lot, not talk about the good guys, but there are a lot of really good dealers out there. We, at our company, through Nick, highly recommend dealing with a PNG authorized dealers, Professional Numismatist Guild. Google PNG, find out, read about what they are, but it's pretty much the only oversight in the industry. And if you're dealing in hard assets, whether it's coins or bullion, I highly suggest dealing with a PNG authorized dealer. You'll get differences of opinion, but at least you'll be dealing with fairly reputable dealers, dealing with those qualified dealers. So
yeah, everyone's going to have different motivation and different ideas of where the market's going. I think the one thing that sets Nick apart from most of our peers is he really does. I mean, I've been sitting in meetings with him when we've been on the road buying large collections, and I've seen him basically make 2 piles of coins when the guy probably would have been more than willing to sell us everything at the time, and he'll say, this is the stuff that I think if you hold another 5 years, you're going to make more money on, and this is the stuff I think that the trends are really running against you at this point. And, we have a little bit of a long-term approach. I mean, this has been a really strange year so far because, we've had a pretty flat line in gold and silver, and we've done several million-dollar deals this year that are people that are giving up on the market that have been long-time clients, which to me is, I personally feel that the current prices are kind of a buying opportunity for everyone. Is it going to turn around tomorrow? It doesn't feel like it, but it feels like all the fundamental reasons why gold went to $1,300 and silver went to $49 are still in play, and there's no reason for things not to get better over time for our industry. But we take a long-term approach that basically says, we want you to be a client for 20 or 30 years or the rest of your life, and we're going to work with you to try and make you some money and not just do what's right for us, but do what's right for you in the long run, because I think it works out better for us as a company. And heck, I know I sleep a lot better at night. Some of these guys, I don't know how they sleep well at night. It's just amazing some of the stuff we see from other people. That's just, again, we're getting ready to go into another break. It goes pretty fast.
Oh, we should mention our website.
Yeah. Our website is www.americanfederal.com, or you can call the office at 800-221-7694. Sign up for our preferred membership group. I mean, last week we bought several huge deals, and we offered a lot of coins at very fair prices that they were all gone within 2 days. So, not always coins that we recommend, but it sort of proves to the point on some of the pricing that we tell people what coins are really worth. So that's about it for this segment. Again, 800-221-7694. If you missed any of the show, you can always look us up on goodasgoldadvice.com, and I think you can actually watch it there. Thank you. Hi, again, it's Don Gause and Carl Ladas. I just wanted to take a second. Today is my 32nd wedding anniversary, and I wanted to thank my wife, Gwen, for putting up with me over all these years. I'm on the road a couple of weeks every month, and it's very, very nice that she does put up with that.
Congratulations, Don.
She's home for me. No problem. The one thing Carl and I wanted to talk about, and I'll try to shut up and let him talk every once in a while, but one of the important services that we do for people is we offer a CPR, which is customer portfolio review, basically. And the whole idea, it's like any other investment. You buy this stuff, and for the most part, unless your dealer calls you all the time, I very rarely ever hear of a dealer calling up and telling anybody it's the right time to sell anything. And one of the things we do with the portfolio review is we take a good look at where you're positioned, and there's a lot of different variables. The one thing that people don't realize, just a couple of strategies that are out there that I've had clients that have done really well with these strategies are, we have guys that trade on ratios. You know, right now we have the silver to gold ratio is 72-1, which a lot of people get all excited and they want to put all their money into silver at that price. And then, you know, when we get down under 35, or which we've had happen in the last 5 years, they take all that silver and put it right back into gold. And what they're doing is they just keep building higher piles of bullion. So without sometimes adding any more money to it. The other thing to watch for is right now you look at the gold-platinum ratio. Gold is probably the better hedge against bad times, against paper currency. But, you know, I've got guys that have 100% of their money in gold, and you look at platinum right now it being less expensive than gold. It's an industrial metal. If things go right in the world, I mean, if more car sales basically with their catalytic converters, platinum should far outperform gold. Now, the other dirty little secret on platinum is that they didn't make very many platinum American Eagles, so there might be an opportunity to have some of those platinum Eagles turn into collector coins over time, but you're not paying extra for them at the front end. You're probably just as likely to get a collector premium, a pop in your collector premium on platinum Eagles as you are to have a lot of the numismatic coins that you're offered by the big dealers pop up in value as much. So, what are your thoughts on that, Carl?
You know, all our listeners will kind of figured out by now. We have a common thread about the way we represent our clients. One thing that I think really separates us from the rest of the pack is that we honestly listen to our clients. We try to find out what they're trying to accomplish, and then we'll give our recommendations based on their needs. We're not just out there trying to sell. The common thread aspect, too, is, in case you haven't figured it out by now, I'm sure people that listen to us have, we don't like buying stuff at high premiums. Okay? You don't buy something that's being promoted and it's at the highest price it's been ever and expect to make money in it. That's not how you make money in this marketplace. Okay? You need to buy at a low premium, and there's ways of taking advantage of areas of the market that also suit your needs, but you can also have an opportunity to make some money going forward. And don't forget, we're not fiduciaries. We're not financial advisors. So we give you recommendations that we've heard down the road, and we do have financial advisors that I can recommend folks to as well that are pretty trusted. So
nobody's right all the time either. Even your financial advisors make mistakes.
Yeah.
So the good ones admit it when they make a mistake, though.
Yeah. That's. I know Nick was promoting coins back in the the 80s and then early part of the 90s, and he had to eat crow and tell people it was a bad deal, and that's just part of the game is being honest enough to admit
it. We made people a lot of money in the 80s.
Yeah,
the market was super hot back then. It was it was hard to lose money back then.
Yeah, and then the 90s rolled around. We had the big crash in '89, and eventually you have to tell your clients you have to move into a different area. You just can't, as a stockbroker, you don't keep selling the same stock for 20 years. It doesn't work that way, folks. Why would you keep buying the same coins from the same guy for 20 years? Trends in the market change. Collector interest changes. Price of gold and silver change. So there's a lot of changes in the marketplace, and you need to have a reputable dealer that's honest enough to tell you when he's made a mistake and give you the best recommendations according to his ability. And that's where we fit in.
The other thing I don't think a lot of people understand, you can have the best guy in the world selling you coins, but you have to understand, and we worry about this and kind of try and avoid being this, if he's the market maker in those coins, if he's the guy that's moving the most coins out the door of that type, then he can never tell anybody it's time to sell, because the second that guy goes into the marketplace and acts like it's the right time to get out, that market falls apart really quickly. I mean, it's a very thinly traded market to start with. Just to give you an idea, we had a couple of nice, honest as can be dealers made the market in $5 modern gold commemoratives, Jackie Robinson $5 coin, the Atlanta Olympic coins. These are all coins that were trading, at
really
multiples of 5 or 6 times their gold value, and they are they're rare coins, but unfortunately, within 6 months, the two guys that were making a mark in it both passed away, and they were small dealers that didn't take a lot to make this market happen, but they passed away and nobody picked up the mantle, and all of a sudden it's like, the other day somebody offered me a $5 Jackie Robinson for, I think around $1,000, which was still 3 times over the melt value of the gold, and I was sitting there thinking, is it a good idea to buy that coin at that price? Or, I mean, to me that seemed really cheap for that coin, but it could be on its way to being just a melt value of gold at some point. You just don't know. It all depends on whether the collectors step up or who's going to make a market.
Yeah, that's the problem with this stuff. You're so reliant upon either the collectors getting involved with what you own or a dealer creating a promotion. I mean, it's throwing darts in the dark.
Well, this wasn't even a promotion so much. It was just guys that were market makers. They were the buyer of last resort. So you always knew you could go with the your $5 Jackie Robinson, and they pay you $2,500 for it back in the day. And at one point that coin was $5,000. But it's just that you need that fluidity in the marketplace to help prop up prices. And when the market makers go away, the prices have a tendency to die on you too. So
I hope we're not putting our listeners to sleep.
Yeah. We're getting a little esoteric there. So I don't know. I guess the biggest thing we like to do is we're trying, I mean, I've got some coins out there that I've been putting clients into that are genuinely really rare coins that they can buy just like bullion coins. The problem is that if 10 people called me tomorrow to buy them all at once, I probably become a market maker in it, and the next thing you know, the prices start to go down or go up, and I lose track of it, and then the next thing you know, I need 10 more dealers to jump on it to make it worthwhile for my guys to get out of it at some point. You just don't know if that's going to happen. Well, we're getting near the end. You put up with us for a whole hour. Next week, Nick will be back, thank goodness. I'm pretty certain he's better than I am at this. If you want, you can go on our website, AmericanFederal.com. You can watch or listen to our podcast at goodasgoldadvice.com. Again, if you missed any of it and you want to catch up, or you can goodasgold.com. Goodasgoldadvice.com is where to go. And feel free to give us a call at 800-221-7694. Carl and I will be back in the office in probably about 45 minutes, and you can ask us all the questions you want. I would, if you own coins already, I would tell you, get a list of your coins over, listen to what we say. You can always say no. We're pretty nice guys that way. And we'll help you any way we can. Thank you again, and I can't believe we made it through an hour. Call the office at 800-221-7694. Good night.